Hey guys! So today I had this look for you, which I just did, and it's based on Emma Stone. I'll insert the picture of it here. And the pictures of her, I saw it was from a QVC event in, I think, 2011. I don't know, I found it and I just really wanted to do it because I love reds and peaches. And I feel like there's not enough celebrities who do those kind of looks that you can base it on. So this is great. Emma always has a really cool look going on. I really like this. I think it's a nice smoky look that's different than a black smoky look. But that's enough talking. I'm going to jump into the tutorial. Alright, so to start off with, I'm going to be applying my base. So I'm going to be taking this, which is kind of got, it's like a primer and a base almost. And this is the Maybelline Color Tattoo, which you've probably heard a lot about these on YouTube recently. This is my favorite one. I have two. This is Pomegranate Punk, which is just a burgundy type color. And I'm actually going to be applying it with a brush. You can take your fingers, I usually do. The reason I'm using a brush is because I want it to be pretty neat on my lid, not going upwards at all. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that down just on the lid. And I don't think I mentioned before, the brush I used was just this Target concealer brush. And before I go on my lids, I'm actually going to work my crease, which, because I want to get my shape going before I get going. Her crease, she has a tendency to take her eyeshadows up, like almost to her brows, even to her brows in some looks. This look is one of the more subtle ones. It goes up probably about to here, which I'm not really used to, but I think it kind of looks nice on this look, so I'll be doing it because I'm trying to replicate it. You want a matte, peachy kind of color that's going to kind of blend out that red. This is Maybelline what? Wet n Wild's Color Icon 6 palette in Greed. Just taking a blender brush by e.l.f. Just make sure that has a nice round shape to it. Alright, so now moving on to the lid. For the main color, I'm going to be taking another red. This one's a little warmer tone versus the base, which is kind of burgundy, which will give you a nice mix. This is Chianti by Ulta. So I'm going to take that with a flat shadow brush and just pack that on. You really want to pack it on just right on top of the lid. And actually I'm going to use another brush by that brand from Target. This is just the shadow brush. It's kind of an angled one, but it's really good for packing on. And I want this all over the lid. It just intensifies the red a little and gives it a warm tone, which goes well with the peach. And I'm actually going to take a little bit, a tiny bit of that on the blending brush and blend it into the crease, not going up as high as the peach, just a tiny bit to kind of deepen up that. Okay, and her look, it's got a lot of black around the eyes, so using the same palette, this is a great one because you get the peach and the black. I'm going to take it with an e.l.f. pencil brush and just take that matte black, and I'm going to first do the crease, which I want kind of a V shape. This outer bit of hers just kind of gives you like a elongated look because it's like the whole outer bit's darker. And this will kind of tone down that red, because when you put black, rimming your eyes with red around it, it tends to look much better than if you just did the black. Or if you just did the red, excuse me. And I'm also going to go along the lash line with that, so if you have any excess on your brush, just go ahead and put that there. You'll add a little more later, so you can see that just kind of deepens up that outer bit. Going to do the same on the other eye. And her looks very smoky, so you don't want any harsh lines. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and go back in with that peach before I move on to the rest of the eye, which I'm going to do in black. Make sure your brush is clean if you're using the same one, which I am, just to keep it simple. Just take that peach and you're going to want to go all the way to connect the upper bit there and go in the inner corner and down pretty low, because that's going to just add the same tone. Oh gosh, just totally dropped my brush and take it all the way down. Okay, so I already did on this side. Just go ahead on this side, take that black, and you want to go on the upper lash line. Don't make it too much up there. You still want the red to show. You just want a little bit of a smudgy look when you put your liner on. Okay, and now I'm going to move on to liner. For her look, I'm going to use one liner. I'm not going to use liquid or anything because, as I mentioned, it's very smudgy. So to get my line, I'm just going to use a pencil liner because you don't want a really precise look. This one's pretty good. It's Prestige in black. You can get this at Ulta. Go ahead and do tight line, upper lash line, and waterline. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Add a little more smokiness, take that same black and just smudge it on the bottom a little. If you do get a little low, don't panic though. If once you add your mascara, it won't look so much like a mistake. It will kind of look like you meant to do it. Now that's pretty much it for eyeshadow. Last thing I'm going to do is add my highlight. I'll just stick with the same palette again. I want to keep it as simple as possible. So for mascara, I'm going to do something that actually, again, has a red tone to it. You could stick with a really black if you want. This is pretty dark, though, and I love it. And it's covered with Lash Blast Luxe in Black Cabernet. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my mascara. And I'll be back to do the cheeks and the lips. Alright, so for the rest of the face, Emma also has a pretty warm tone going on for her blush, and actually, like, every time I ever see her, she seems to wear a blush. Mine's broken, or I would hold that up for you. A nice peachy blush. This is an amazing one. It's NYX Powder Blush in Peach. Be careful with it, because like I said, it's chattered. And I'm just going to pop that on my cheeks. I'm using a powder brush by e.l.f. You could use a stippling brush, but I think this gives a nice natural flush to your cheeks when you do it with a powder brush. Alright, and last thing for the look is the lips. Emma's got a nice rich pink going on. I'm actually just going to start with a mauve-y color. This is my favorite line of lipsticks. I love these. They're the Rimmel Moisture Renew. This one's vintage pink. And actually, I don't want this kind of like darkness that this has, but I want a similar tone. So I'm going to wipe it on, and then I'm actually going to blot it with a tissue, toilet paper, and then I'm going to add a pinker gloss on top. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so there is the finished Emma Stone inspired look. It's pretty intense, but it's not like totally unwearable. I think this would be great if, like her, you are a redhead, because it's got a lot of, you know, red, peachy tones that just would make your hair really pop. And also it's really good if you have light eyes, but I think you could rock it if you have brown eyes as well. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and yeah, so subscribe if you like this, or like it if you like this. And see you guys around. Have a great day. Bye.